Readers Entertainment Radio presents Booklights with your host, author Lisa Kessler. Booklights, where we're shining a light on good books.
Hi, welcome everyone. I have a Thanksgiving week surprise for you. This is not Lisa, this is Alyssa Day. I'm turning the tables on Lisa this week, and I'm going to be interviewing the interviewer.
Yay!
Yeah, we're very excited. We're staying home, being careful, giving thanks that these new vaccines may be turning things around very soon. And as I said, I'm so happy to turn the tables on Lisa and interview the interviewer about her amazing books. Let me give you her background, and then we'll jump right in. Lisa Kessler is a best-selling author of dark paranormal fiction. She's a two-time San Diego Book Award winner for Best Published Fantasy Sci-Fi Horror and Best Published Romance. Her books have also won the Prism Award, the Award of Excellence, the National Excellence in Romantic Fiction Award, the Award of Merit from the Holt Medallion, and an International Digital Award for Best Paranormal. And I can say as an avid reader and good friend of Lisa that these are all well-deserved. Her short stories have been published. Her short stories have been published in print anthologies and magazines, and her vampire story Immortal Beloved was a finalist for a Bram Stoker Award. When she's not writing, Lisa is a professional vocalist and has performed with San Diego Opera as well as other musical theater companies in San Diego. But in fact, she's just moved clear across the country to join me on my side of things on the east coast of Florida. How are you enjoying Florida? Lisa, how are you settling in?
Well, it's very rainy here, which is like the opposite of San Diego, so I'm getting used to all the wet, but it's beautiful, and there's so many animals here. I have not yet seen an alligator, knocking on wood, but lots of giant, dinosaur birds. I'm like, what is this? But anyway, it's been great so far. Everybody's very nice here.
I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, you hit us in hurricane season, so we have that daily rainstorm and the slap-you-in-the-face humidity, but luckily we're starting to get to the nice, cool, lovely winter weather.
Yes, it has been less humidity now. I walk the dog, and I'm not dripping, so that's nice.
And I'm sure the dog appreciates it. It's a shock for them, too.
Yeah, she's a black dog. She's a little Boston Terrier, so she's black. So when we first got here and it was so hot and humid, we would walk outside and she would give me this look of, why did you bring me here? so I'm glad it's cooling off a little.
Yeah, and Boston Terriers, I have a pug, and they both have that, breathing issue. So when it's hot, really, we have to do first thing in the morning at dawn and then last thing at night at dusk, or it's just too hot for them.
Yeah, very
Well,
sporty.
Moving on from our lovely Florida weather to the exciting news of the day, you have a new book out today. Congratulations and happy release to Sedona Surrender. I'm so excited to read this week because I love your Sedona Pack series. Shifters, Psychics, and Secrets. What more could a reader want? Lisa, tell us about Sedona Surrender.
So this book is chock full of secrets. They were secrets from me because I'm a pantser, and off I go. And this was one of those rare unicorn books that just, I was so addicted to writing it. I've never written a book as fast as this one, and it was just because I couldn't wait to find out what's going to happen next. But it's the story of Madison and Cole is a veterinarian, a large animal vet. And I grew up on a horse ranch, and so whenever I get these werewolves that happen to do something on a ranch, it's always fun for me because I'm digging back into my memories of holding horses for the vet and all that. But I did have to do a lot of research on artificial insemination of cows. So don't look at my research history on my computer from this book. I'm like, if I learn anything else about bull semen, I'm done.
This is so weird. It must be why we're friends, because I had a book I had to do research on artificial insemination of cows as well. And of all the bizarre things for both of us to have done. But
that is so funny. I didn't know we had that in common.
And it's very odd. Let's keep it between us and the however many thousand people are listening, okay?
Right. Yes, that can be our
Lisa,
secret.
I'm going to take you back a second. You said a couple of terms that, of course, I know about and our author friends listening will know, but readers might not be familiar with. First, you said you were a pantser. Can you tell readers what that means?
Yes, that means that I have an idea of what's going to happen with the book, but I have absolutely no outline. So it's writing without a net, is what I usually call it. But usually I have an idea of what the ending's going to be, and I have an opening scene. So I don't know how I'm going to get to the ending. And this particular book had a big surprise ending, but I didn't quite understand how that was going to end up happening. So it made it super fun to race to the computer. Thankfully, these two wrote the book themselves. I really felt like I was doing dictation. They were just woo. But yeah, so it's not having an outline is often very scary, but it motivates me to get back to the keyboard because to me it's like a movie in my head and I want to get it on the page. And so if I want to watch the next episode, I have to get back to the keyboard. So for me, it keeps me writing. I know my friends who are plotters are like, oh, because they need to know what they're going to write. But for me, it's the opposite. If I know what I'm going to write, it turns into a term paper and I don't want to. So it's a balance. But yeah, so I jumped in and off we went. Adventure.
That sounds like so much fun. And, of course, the term pantser itself comes from flying by the seat of your pants, which for somebody like me, former lawyer, left brain logical, half the fun in my process is doing the plotting. Because, and especially, I always have twisty plots with lots of subplots and mysteries with, half a dozen red herrings. And I just love the setting out the plot. So what I love about this journey of being an author is finding out all the different ways that different people go about coming to a great book.
Right. And I feel like my outlining friends, I am always jealous because I'm like, oh, I wish I knew what I was going to write today. So I'm often very jealous of your process. On the days when I'm stuck, I'm like, dang it.
Well, I think I learned early on that it's just best if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and that we should all stick with what works for us and not try to, like if I've tried to be a pantser before and it's just not fun for me. So our brains work how they work, and we should just stick with it, I think is the lesson.
That's right. Honor your process.
Exactly. Another term you use that readers might not know is unicorn book. And, of course, I've had a few of these, too. I call them a gift book. Do you want to tell readers what you meant by that?
Yes. So usually, before I was a writer, I used to romanticize how cool it must be to go sit in a corner like, Hemingway with one light on and write this feverish book. But the reality of writing books, I found, is that often you get to the middle of the book and it's really hard and you have to, make time and show up at the keyboard. There are times when I sit there and I'm like, those socks are not going to pair themselves because I would rather do that. And most writers I know have that same experience. I mean, usually writing is really hard work, and you have to make yourself get to the keyboard and finish that book, especially in the middle. And every once in a while, I call them unicorn books, but gift books is another good way to look at it. But every once in a while, you have a book that it's so easy, and the whole book is magic, and you're just writing it going, oh my gosh, and it doesn't happen very often. And so I call it a unicorn book, but I've had maybe 3 unicorn books out of 32 so far. So, they don't happen very often. And then I feel like the letdown afterwards is awful because you start the next book and you're like, I know what I'm doing now. I'm really good at this. And you sit down and you're like, oh, why is it hard? So
exactly. I think I've had maybe 3 or 4 out of 45 books, so I know exactly what you mean. It's so much fun when it happens, but you've got to put the work in. Well, let's talk about Let's talk about Sedona Surrender. Why did you choose Sedona for the setting? I took the kids there for a week for a research trip because I set Vampire in Atlantis in Sedona, and we loved everything about it. I even wanted to move there.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to move there too. Oh, it's so beautiful. I put in the books, I have one reviewer who lives in France, and she didn't realize Sedona was a real place. And then she went down the rabbit hole on YouTube, and she was like, it's so beautiful. And really, until you go there, it's just the massive red rocks are just, you walk out there. Every day I walked outside, I'm like, Sedona, why are you so pretty? Because it's just, you walk out and you go, oh, they're so massive, I guess, and naturally made that you look at it and you think, wow, all your problems are tiny, minuscule. This is just so huge. And the energy there is just so beautiful. And I've always loved it. And so when I was writing the Moon series, which is based up in Reno and Lake Tahoe, which is also gorgeous and I love it, but there was one prodigal son who left the pack, and he went to Sedona because I like it there. And there was an evil wolf pack there, and I sort of left them in disarray. He helped them kill their evil alpha, and then we went back to Reno. And so when that Moon series ended, I felt like I wasn't done with werewolves yet, and I knew I had left that pack all messed up in Sedona, and I thought, oh, now I have a reason for another book research trip to Sedona. So the Sedona pack was born.
That's wonderful. I love it. And, of course, we both write paranormal. So, the attraction of Sedona, that so many magical confluences are supposed to gather there, the, ley lines and magical points.
Yeah.
And we actually hired a Native American shaman to take us on a sightseeing trip when we were there. And it's just amazing for so many reasons, including the scenery. So it's exciting to get to read another book about it. And because every Lisa Kessler book has a hero who is so, so hot, tell us about Cole Vega.
So Cole surprised me because I have known many veterinarians, so I wasn't immediately swoony. It wasn't like he was a cage fighter or something, motorcycle club guy. He was a veterinarian. So that was why the book was so shocking to me, that it was a unicorn book, because I knew Cole from the other books in the series, but I wasn't super ignorant, and I was so in love with him immediately that it was just, I couldn't get away from the keyboard. He is rough and tumble, but still very confident and he's so good with animals, and so I'm a sucker for that too. But he had so much honest swagger that it was well earned, that it was hard not to love him. And Madison, is a city girl from San Francisco who has a marketing degree, who found herself hired as a marketing manager of a cattle ranch. So she knows nothing about cows. And and also loves karaoke. And in my wolf world, they don't find their mate until they touch skin to skin. So it gives me a lot of time in the books usually to play with that there might be an attraction, but of course she's not my mate, and all this, and until they finally touch skin to skin. And so she was luring him to sing karaoke, which is not his style at all. I think in the book he describes himself as, he's not tone deaf, but he's no pop star. So anyway, she lures him to sing karaoke, even though there wasn't quite enough beer in the bar for that. But the second she grabbed his hand to pull him up there, he realized who she was. And she is also the baby sister of one of the bitten jaguars in the pack. So she is completely off limits because she doesn't know her brother's been bitten. She doesn't know shifters exist. And here he is on his way up to sing karaoke and realizes she is his one true mate for life. Oh no, what am I gonna do? And I was so hooked I couldn't stop writing the book. It was just such a fun adventure, and most of it was because Cole was just really a great hero, which again surprised me because he doesn't have a buff job or anything, but he really was fantastic. And I hope that readers will fall in love with him, especially that karaoke scene just made the book for me.
Well, I can't see how they couldn't fall in love with him, and you can't tell me that a large animal vet is not a buff guy wrangling horses and cows around and things like that. We watched one of those veterinarian shows where they were helping a cow give birth, and the guy had to stick his arm clear in up to the shoulder, and I was like, as I changed the channel, I thought, that's a heck of a job. That must be really, really rewarding, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. I can remember our vet when I was a kid. He would come out, when the horses were sick or to float their teeth or whatever. But he always used to joke that, doctors are sissies because their rubber gloves only go up to their wrist. And
exactly.
His went all the way up to his armpit. I was like, oh.
Right. Remember those books I think we all read as a kid, the All Creatures Great and Small, the English vet?
Mhm.
I loved everything about him, so I'm really excited to read this one. Tell us about, and this is exciting. I don't know if anybody in the audience knows this, but Lisa is also a well-known tarot reader. And I was lucky enough to have a session with her, which I found fascinating because I had known nothing about tarot. How did you get into that, Lisa?
Before I started writing, I've always been interested in paranormal things and haunted houses and ghosts and all that. So of course I wanted to learn about tarot cards, and it was immediately completely overwhelming. I mean, 78 cards that all mean something different and pictures, and it was just too much. And so I put it away. And then when I started writing for real writing, I took a class on tarot for writing, and that seemed to click with me a little bit more. And then I started deck collecting, and I found a tarot deck that really spoke to me, and I was like, hey, suddenly this makes sense, and it all started to click. And now I can read with pretty much any deck because it's been 10 years. I'm pretty familiar with all of them. But if you are out there going, gosh, I love tarot, but it's too hard, keep searching for the right deck, because a lot of it has to do with the pictures. And I had the traditional Rider-Waite deck where it's all angry men looking at you in these pictures. So it didn't connect with me at all. But
yeah, I found one that had beautiful fairy women, and I really loved that.
Yes. There you go. Yeah. I found a deck that had more, mystical lookers and more women, and it just connected with me better. And then it really starts to make sense. And it's a really handy tool for writing, for direction if you're at a crossroads in your life, or, I do a weekly tarot reading on YouTube every week just for what should we focus on this week. And hopefully it gives people a little, insight into what's maybe coming this week, and maybe just a little inspiration of here's a new area of your life, maybe work on that this week, because we're also complex. And sometimes, especially I find since we've all been locked in for so long, it's easy to get in a rut and not notice that, maybe you need a little quiet time. This week we got the time out card. Take some time out and get some solitude. And yesterday my whole computer locked up, and I was like, what? I thought I was going to get so much writing done, and instead I went for a walk, and I did, so sometimes you need stuff like that. And I find that tarot cards and oracle cards, if with the right intention, if your intention is just, what should I focus on today? And you pull a card out, it will give you, just a different view of what you could do that day. And for writers, it's always helpful. I will sit down to write a new book, and I always pull 3 cards for the hero and 3 cards for the heroine, so that I know their past, where they are when the book starts, and where they'll be at the end of the book. And that, because I don't have an outline, that really helps me know what their character growth is going to be, and maybe what their wounds are, and all that as I write. So I definitely use them for writing too. But anyway, hit me up if you're interested in tarot, because I love it very much, and I'm happy to spout about it for people.
That's really fascinating, and I think it's always great when you're writing to get another perspective. And if turning a tarot card can help you think about something in a different way, that's always going to be good for you and for your writing. Why don't you drop a link to your YouTube in the show notes, Lisa, so everybody can check you out?
Sure. I will make myself a note, so I'll do that.
Well, while we're talking about books, what's coming up next for you?
So right now I am finishing Pirate's Promise, and that one is for Entangled for my Sentinels of Savannah series. And that one takes place in Savannah, Georgia, most haunted city. It's so fantastic. So I go from the Southwest mystical to the haunted East Coast. But anyway, the Savannah series is super fun, Immortal Pirates. And this will be book 5 of that series. So I'm supposed to turn it in at the end of the month. So I'm very close. It's exciting book. Oh my gosh. So
I tell you what, I think we really must be sisters, because my Vampire Motorcycle Club books are set in Savannah as well. And at one point I actually have somebody mention pirate ghosts.
Oh, I love it. Well, I love the Vampire Motorcycle Club, but when I was in Savannah researching, and my grandmother grew up there. She was born in Darien, which is right out. Savannah was the big city back then, and so her family is still there. So it was super fun to go visit her sisters and get stories and things. But when I was walking around there at night along River Street on the cobblestones, vampires totally belong in Savannah. So you did the right thing.
Absolutely. And going to visit the cemeteries there, it's wonderful.
Yes.
I think
so
we both
beautiful.
can highly recommend, once we can travel again safely, a trip to Savannah for all of our readers.
For sure, yes. Yeah, definitely.
Well, now that we're stuck home for the foreseeable future, hopefully not too much longer, what are you reading and binge watching right now?
Oh, I have been, what have I been binge watching? I just finished, I just finished Cobra Kai. Oh, fantastic series. I don't know why I put it off so long. Yeah, and my daughter had told me, you will love this. You have to watch it. But I kept putting it off. Anyway, I finally watched Cobra Kai, and that was so fantastic. Everyone needs to watch it. And it comes back, the next season comes back in January, so I can't wait. It was fantastic. And my daughter wasn't even born when the Karate Kid movies came out, and she loved. So everyone can watch. You don't have to be a child of the 80s. But yeah, what flawed, amazing characters, and the writing on it was fantastic. It was really good. So highly recommend. And I just finished Outlander. I have not read the Outlander books, but the show is great, and I love it. But wow, that was a harsh episode to end on. I just thought, oh. So if you haven't watched it yet, I don't want to spoil anything. But wow, that was a hard episode to end on. So
I've only watched the first season so far. I have read all the books, so I know that they go through so much in those books. Diana is not afraid to torture her characters.
So much torture, yes, and it left on torture. I was just like, oh. So I hope another season is coming. I assume it is. But right now I'm about to, after I finish this book, then I'm about to watch The Crown, because I haven't watched the new season, but last season was so fantastic, and this season is Diana. So I'm excited about The Crown. And I finished The Good Place, which was great. And and Santa Clarita Diet. Oh, fantastic. If you are in love with Timothy Oliphant, you will love
Who isn't?
Santa Clarita Diet. Right? Have you
Justified.
watched it yet, Drew Barrymore?
I haven't seen it yet. I've been binge watching the Great British Baking Show. All the seasons.
That's
and
that's
looking
cute.
forward
that's totally different.
Yeah, looking forward to my friend Julia Quinn's Bridgerton series that's coming out on Netflix on Christmas Day. So excited for her.
Yes,
so excited for
fantastic.
romance, to get a romance series made into a TV show.
Right, and I need to watch that Timeless Christmas. That's Zoe Archer's. It's her pen name. I can't remember the pen name for it, Alicia something, but it just came out as a Hallmark movie. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I can't wait to watch that too. I'm so excited that they're finally making rom-coms and romantic series from romance authors, finally.
I know, and paranormal needs to be next. I said something on Twitter that Hallmark movies would be a lot more fun if a vampire or a werewolf would show up during the annual small-town Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and all of my readers were like, yes, I would watch that. Hallmark, hire her.
Yes, I was in those cheers. You would write a fantastic Hallmark Christmas special.
And so would you. We'll have to team up and do one.
There we go. Yeah, I'd be happy to co-write with you.
Well, here's a tough question, and one that I know I get asked a lot right now. How are you staying inspired to write happy ever after during a pandemic?
That has been a struggle because when the world's on fire, it's really hard to turn it all off and go, oh, love will conquer all, because you're constantly bombarded by anti-love messages in the real world, and the fear itself cranks up my anxiety. So it does make it very difficult. Right now, I am getting by through writing Zooms with different writing groups. I have 2 different groups that I write with, and for some reason, just the accountability of knowing everyone's writing right now, and we leave the Zoom on, just so that it's writing time now. It's not Twitter doom scrolling time. And that has made it possible for me to cool down the anxiety and just focus. And once I get writing, it's such a nice escape from the real world to go somewhere where somebody's, willing to die to keep you safe and to do the right thing. So anyway, once I get going, that seems to be good. But without the Zooms, it's very hard for me to write on my own right now because it's so easy to get distracted with sad things. And so it has been especially hard. I know some of my friends have turned to write in different genres right now because it is really hard to write a happily ever after. In the beginning of the pandemic, I had this internal editor in my head going, no one cares. This doesn't matter. Everything's on fire. And it was actually readers who came to my rescue who were like, we need the happy ever after stories more than we ever have. And then I felt like, that's right. What we do is important. So that has really helped too, readers,
And that
needing the book.
That is such an excellent point. I've heard from several readers because, of course, my mysteries especially have a lot of humor in them. And I've just heard from so many readers saying, please, don't stop, because it's so nice to be able to laugh at something when 2020 has been a dumpster fire. And it's true, it's true. It's this bit of respite, this bit of escape, this bit of knowing that the good guys will win and happily ever after will prevail, and that's just important. What we do is important. You mentioned something about, the attraction of a world where good guys will do anything to keep you safe, and good women will do anything to keep you safe.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the attraction is for shifters and paranormal creatures in romance?
For me, because I'm a paranormal romance reader too, is that I like the stakes to be so high that it does come down to, what will you do for love, more than an email or switching jobs or whatever. I like the stakes to be higher. And in paranormal, it often comes down to that. And in the book I'm writing right now, Pirate's Promise, one of the side characters had this line that has been haunting me because she told the heroine of the book, love doesn't make things easy. It makes things worthwhile. And that has haunted me through the whole book, that advice, because it really does come down to that's what makes it worth living. And it doesn't make things easy, and it doesn't solve all your problems, but it makes fighting through it worthwhile. And I think in paranormal romance especially, that always gets brought out because the stakes are so high. The world could end, the person could die, the wolf pack could be exposed, all these kind of things. So it's giant stakes, and love is at the heart of all the decisions. And for me, that's what makes it worth reading.
And that's exactly it. And everybody wants that sense of connection, that feeling that someone else is there for you and is your person, helps you carry the load, helps share their strength with you, no matter what happens. And that's a big part of your books and something I love so much.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it's all about, that you're someone's favorite person and somebody that they would give up everything to, make sure that you're okay. And I think we all need that, especially right now.
Especially right now. Well, everybody, please
Right?
buy Sedona Surrender, because this is an amazing book, and Lisa is an amazing author.
Thank you so much. And we are out of time, but this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming and being a guest host. This was a blast.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Stay safe.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks for joining us on Booklights. Be sure to connect with us at www.readersentertainment.com for articles, blogs, videos, and podcasts that matter to readers.